So we will discuss today like how to migrate applications to the cloud basically. So if anybody asks like, what is your project, what exactly you guys do, and things like that. Let's say the project is migrate some of our applications to the cloud. Just one word. How simple is that? Migrate, let's migrate two or three simple, normal non-sensitive applications to the cloud, and let's see how does that go. So when anybody say like, migrate your applications cloud means right now you have, this is your corporate data center. For example, this is your corporate data center, your company corporate data center, for example, and this is AWS account. Your company took an AWS account. Okay. Now your company applications running in this corporate center, data center, on-prem servers. Okay, on-prem virtual machines, on-premises virtual machines. Let's say on-premises virtual machines. Okay. Now your project is you are trying to migrate some of your applications, like migrating applications to the cloud. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Migrate your applications to the cloud means you don't want to use your on-prem servers, right? Because a lot of high availability features, and you don't want to maintain the servers like half hours or blah blah blah, and you don't want to monitor. You want your applications to be available across the globe, not only specific region. For all that kind of reasons, you want to try a cloud, for example. Okay. Now your company assigned, let's migrate some of your applications to the cloud. And application is nothing but source code only, right? Whatever the code that you write is application, right? This is a code. Where do we have code actually? Where we will have the code?
In the source code repository like Git or Bitbucket.
Exactly. So now we have the GitHub, we have the source code here, right? And in order to package this code and in order to deploy this code, what you need infrastructure. Currently you have infrastructure here in your on-prem servers. Okay. And you want to build infrastructure in the cloud, and you want to package your application and deploy the code. Okay. But what about the existing servers that we have? Let's say the servers that we have, they have some volumes, they have some disks, like, they have some data over there. What about all those things? Right? And you could make a connection between this server to your AWS, and you can store that volumes, all blah, blah, blah into S3. Okay. And use those volumes to create AMIs. We created AMIs using volume, right? Volume means snapshot, right? We created AMIs using snapshot. AMI. Now you have your virtual machine, AMI. Use that AMI to create an EC2 instance. Right? How simple is that? But this project will be a couple of $1 million project. Okay? It's not that simple as we talked. This will be couple of million, $2-3 million project based on the company size and volume, and based on the company business. Okay, this is the project, and that is the project that you are working on. Now let's go to your roles and responsibilities. What are your roles and responsibilities in this project? And you want to build the infrastructure. You don't want to do it manually. You want to do it in automated way. You want to implement automation script. You want to build a strategy like how you are going to maintain the permissions for the users who will be accessing this AWS account, AWS servers, how they are going to get permissions like a limited permissions or control full permissions or things like that. That is IAM, right? And compute, what are the compute services that you guys are going to use? EC2 or EKS, how you are going to package your code. You want to use Maven build or Docker, or this is all your work as an individual, not only one person, the teamwork basically. So what you did in this work, you did implement automation scripts, you didn't implement IAM strategies, you didn't implement like a branching strategies here, you did implement like a Jenkins pipelines here in order to accelerate your deployments. That's your work. Okay, and the application code written in Java Spring Boot with relational databases. Okay, then okay, you migrated your servers to AWS. How about database? Right now, currently you have database here, right? These servers are talking to these database servers in order to get the data, like a transaction details, transaction details, like, you know, and any database, right? And how about database? You migrated this whole database to DynamoDB, for example, or MongoDB, MariaDB, anything. DynamoDB using DMS. DMS means Database Migration Service. You don't need to tell them basically, but I'm just trying to tell you how does that work. Database Migration Service. You can create one replica here. You can create one replica here, and you just click on that button. Okay. In order to migrate your data, you will need to not only this database. In order to migrate your these volumes and all the stuff to S3, you will need some setup on your on-prem servers. Okay, we will discuss what that setup actually. So how to migrate on-prem workloads with AWS Migration Service. Okay, first of all, we need an IAM user, right? And we can create that replication agent, that nothing but IAM user. We need to have an IAM user. We'll create an IAM user on the management console, and we can configure that user. For example, these on-prem servers, are Linux, like a CentOS machines, right? And what you can do, you can install AWS CLI on this. How we can install AWS CLI? We will get that URL, right, where we can download that AWS CLI package and install. We will follow the same steps for CentOS. Install the CLI and AWS configure access key secret key. So automatically this user will get access to this AWS environment, right? This user, because we configured access key secret key, and he will get, for example, this guy, whoever access key secret key we configured, he needs to have S3 access in order to upload those EBS volumes, snapshots, whatever. We can create S3 full permissions, right? And we will get the access key secret key, and we can configure that access key secret key, and we will copy those EBS volumes and all the stuff. Not EBS, actually. We copy that, whatever the volumes that they have, files, whatever the files that they need, configurations to S3. That's it. How we can copy? CLI command. We did it, right? AWS S3 copy, GUI, and a location folder, object folder, whatever the object that we create, right? That's how we build images. Like we make those files into S3 and create an AMI and use that AMI to build the server. Okay, that's how we build the servers. Like we migrate our applications to the AWS. That is the one way. The second way is you don't touch your existing environment. you build the whole environment, new identical environment, okay, and try to deploy your code for a couple of servers, not like a whole workloads. For small amount of workload, like 20% of your traffic will go to the cloud, okay, 20% of your traffic for your application will go to the cloud instances, and you will observe for 6 to 7 months, and how much you are paying to manage this 80% here, and how much you are paying to manage 20% here, things like that, like a business perspective. Then based on that, you migrate the rest of your applications like 100% to here and terminate all the whole environment right here. That is the other way. But what you need is this only IAM user, install AWS replication agents on the source server. Source server means on-prem servers. And setting up the launch configuration, nothing but what AMI, what subnet, and what VPC, and what are the security group rules, inbound traffic, outbound traffic, and then launch some test instances. Okay, you want only this traffic talk to this traffic, change the security group rules and inbound, outbound rules, and you can configure subnet, VPC, all those details, and test some instances for like 2 to 3 weeks. Then launch the cutover. Cutover means like hey, everything is ready. Okay, instances have launched, test, blah blah blah. This is not only one person word. I'm telling you, this is the whole team will spend years in the whole migration process. Okay, and it's a couple of $1 million project. It's not simple as we are talking here. Okay, that's what it is. Then what are the prerequisites? Of course, company will take an AWS account, and company will create VPC, will get VPC, company will create their own VPC, and blah blah blah, things like that. This is how it looks like. This is a corporate data center. This is AWS. Okay, this is your application server. You will install replication agent on the application server, the database server, and continuously you can send your replication server, whatever the data you need, data, right? You are migrating means you are migrating your application, means you are migrating your data. That data volume, it can be snapshots, it can be user data, it can be files, it can be anything. Okay, and you see that migrate your data to EBS volumes or S3 bucket, and migration resources. These are the database, like a cutover database, blah blah blah, all the stuff, right? This is the database instances basically, just to migrate the data. You could use DMS, database migration service, just to see how simple is that. Okay, and same, create a policy. This policy will have access to this database. For example, you are using this database server, right? And in order to, your instance might need to talk to this database in order to get the data. And what you need to do, you need to create a custom policy. That policy should have EC2 permissions and this database permissions. And you will use that custom policy to create your instances. Okay, so automatically that EC2 instance will get access to this database server. Okay, that is the custom policy. And creating IAM user and attach that custom policy to that IAM user. Okay, and you see that this is how we can install the replication agent and all the stuff. I didn't do anything. You see that you can download the install straight away, and wget is the shell command, and this is the URL, and install it. This is a Python script that they have written, and that's it. You see that installation will done. This is on your server. For example, this is, you are using your on-prem server is Ubuntu. You run the script on your server. Okay, this is how you migrate applications basically. Okay, if anybody asks, like what is the launch not launch config, what is your project, what you guys doing exactly, things like that. And you could tell them that we are working on a application, we are working on a migration. Actually, we are migrating some of our apps to the cloud, and we use EC2, and we use a lot of automation tools, and we are implementing our strategy to migrate the clouds. Right now we are working on, like, one of the applications that I was working on, we are planning to migrate 30% of the workloads initially, and to see like how does that go for a couple of months. Then we will migrate the whole application to the cloud. And my roles and responsibilities were like mostly implementation of automation scripts, and implementation of pipeline CI/CD, working with the developers to make sure they are getting what they need in order to get their application up and running. And working with IM users, blah blah blah, and things like that. That's how we need to tell them. Any doubts, any questions from anybody?
Vishnu, drag to top, Vishnu. I just saw one thing.
Okay.
Full top, Vishnu.
Okay. At the picture?
No, the introduction module. Like that. There you said that source code something, right? Can you come a little bit down?
Right here?
Yeah, here source servers that install AWS replication agents on source servers. What you said, Vishnu? What are the source servers you said here?
Yeah, the source servers are whatever the servers you have on your on-prem corporate data center. So the old legacy, right? In previous, what the companies, there was no cloud previous, right? But there were a lot of applications, a lot of companies. Like when Microsoft started, they did not have any cloud at the time, right? But how we were able to access the application, right? What they do, they buy physical servers. Let me send you the picture of a physical server, how it looks like. Okay.
Okay.
Buy this kind of physical servers. Give me 1 second. Yeah, that is the physical server looks like. Even when we do projects, right? Like when we do class projects in the sense like a C++, Java projects in the college, that guy will connect all computers to a centralized network place, right? That lab assistant guy. And that's the physical servers basically. Each computer will be connected to physical server basically. Okay, that the data center will have the physical servers, and they will launch virtual machines on these physical servers basically. Okay. And that physical servers can be the same thing. It can be CentOS, it can be Red Hat Enterprise Linux, it can be any kind of Linux or any kind of Windows server. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can install AWS CLI on CentOS, right? It doesn't matter whether it is a AWS instance or it can be a physical server. As long as it is a Linux server, right? This one, let me go simple right here. As long as a Linux server, I can use wget command to download this Python script, right? Because this is a CentOS server, I can run wget command, or I can run cd, I can run mkdir, I can run touch, because it's a Linux server. No matter whether it's a physical server or virtual, like elastic EC2 server, right? The flavor of that computer is the same. Image will be everything for that computer. Okay. Even when you are launching an EC2 instance, right? Basically, you are launching an EC2 instance on Amazon Web Services physical server only. So when we are selecting the region US is to 1 or US is to 2, right? There is a physical server. The physical data center, whole data center is in US is to 2, but they are giving us an opportunity to provision the server on their physical data center. This is what their physical data center. This is what their physical data center, which is in Ohio, US is to 2, Ohio. 3-4 miles width. Not like just something like that. There is a one physical data center in Virginia. You drive, when you drive, the data center will be 3 miles actually. That's how big it is. Okay. Companies still have a physical center, physical servers actually. They don't migrate all their applications to the cloud because they need to have a backup, things like that. But some of the brand new startup companies like some of the companies like a Netflix, they don't have a physical server actually. They're building the whole applications and everything in the cloud. But 90% of the companies, they still have a physical servers, corporate data center. Their applications up and running over there actually. They're migrating like a one by one. Most of the companies migrating their applications. Even Delta Airlines is a big airlines. Delta Airlines was there like since 1937. 1937. They don't have their servers in Amazon Web Services yet, or any other web, any other cloud like Azure or Google Cloud. No, they still have their applications running on data center. You can still access the delta.com, right, to book the tickets and everything. This delta.com running on their physical servers actually, not AWS, inside AWS actually. It is running on their physical machine. And they buy this delta.com domain and they attach their computer IP to this delta.com. Okay. And whenever somebody try to access this delta.com, right, and it will direct it to that IP, and they will get the data. The data will be stored on their physical server basically. Now the delta.com wanted to migrate their application to the AWS, and in order to migrate that application first, what we need to have? We need to have the database, right? That's what we discussed yesterday. Remember, we discussed with Nike with one schema and a two schema, first address, second apartment, like that. In order to migrate your applications, you should have your database first. And the database, nothing but volume, snapshots, and actual database, like a database servers, like a MySQL database, MariaDB, DynamoDB, things like that. Okay. And this is just, this is how it works basically. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Vishnu.
Are you guys getting any clear? Priya, any questions?
No, Vishnu, good.
Okay.